So this is just about improving your address data in 3 simple steps. So just to give you a little bit of background, it's Craig here, Managing Director of Target Cloud, and my background is 8 years with Target Cloud. Before that, I was in corporate sales. But then in between, I did work for a company who provided a postcode lookup system, and I was really impressed with the system. So it's always been an ambition to build that into Zoho CRM, really to improve the addressing capability. Because Zoho is a global platform, it's very difficult for Zoho to do this at source. It needs to be addressed for each different country, and includes an integration which we've now completed with Loqate, who are a global address provider, very, very reputable in the industry, and their address data is updated daily from source, and that's across the globe. So it's a really good data set. So it's been one of our ambitions to get this in place, and we released a version 1 around about 6 months ago, which has been successful, but there were some issues to come out of it when we listened to our clients, and therefore we've addressed all of these issues in our second iteration, which we're calling a toolkit, because it's not only going to include address lookup, it's also going to include things like email validation and phone validation, bank validation, and so on. So let's just talk about the agenda today for the 30 or 40 minutes or so that we have. So that's the introduction. I've just done that. I'm going to show you customizing and mapping fields, which is the first kind of main requirement in CRM Toolkit. I'll also show you how easy it is to install. I'm then going to show you using Toolkit in custom modules. So it's not just for leads, contacts, and accounts. You can map any data from the Loqate address data into any field in any module, including custom modules. And that was a big requirement from the people who were using version 1 of the tool. And then step 3 for our business-to-business customers, I'm going to show you how you can just create or find the address for your business clients very, very simply and straightforward. And then stay until the end, because we've got some special offers on the lookup packages, and Duncan and I will do any Q&A. So just in way of just introducing the Loqate element. So we've now got a partnership in place with the global leader, which is these guys, Loqate GBG. And we're also going to be launching CRM Toolkit on the Zoho Marketplace. And our aim for that is early 2022. So it's currently in review with them. But you can use it in the meantime, because it's a very, very straightforward installation. And putting it onto Marketplace just means that it's accessible to all Zoho users. Okay, so let's start and have a look at the tool. So our first step is step 1, customizing and mapping the fields. Okay, so let's go into Zoho CRM, our demo system. And I'm going to go to our contact module. And I'm just going to create a contact. And you'll see straight away that we've got our custom button here for CRM Toolkit. So let's just click on CRM Toolkit, and that will bring up a widget and bring up the interface for the toolkit. And immediately you can see that we've got our mailing address, the mailing street to mailing city, state, country, and zip, which are mapped here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a lookup on a random postcode. Just bear with me. So let's just type one of these in. We're going to go with SP10 2BQ. Now you'll notice the type ahead immediately comes whittles down the addresses that you can see. And when there's more than one address, it's got the plus symbol here, and you can see 14 addresses available. We can then select the address that we want, and that will populate the fields that we've mapped. So here we've got the Fively Close Andover, the state and the country, and mailing zip. And then we can submit that entry, and that will submit it to the fields that we've mapped. What I also want to identify is that we've got the ability to add multiple addresses to forms, which was another big requirement from our version 1. So let's enter other street this time. So we're going to launch CRM Toolkit again. And this time we're going to look at other street. And to do that, this is the mailing street section. And there's an arrow here where we can move across to our other address. And I'm going to start typing in here again with the postcode. So let's choose WV10. sorry, just bear with me, WV10 70A, I have a long list of sample postcodes, and that's given me 23 addresses. And if we look at this, you can see number 7 there. So let's just type in 7, and then that will automatically select that one. So the more information we give it, so let's try that again, I'll show you. 7 WV10 70A, and then that will take it right down to the postcode that we want. It's also given us this one here just in case we made a typo. So let's select the address, and you can see now it's mapped to other street, city, postcode, and so on. And when we submit that, that's going to add it to the other street. So let's save this one. Very simply done. So we're going to save that one, and now our addresses are complete. If we go into edit mode for this person, and we want to edit the address, then we need to add in the CRM Toolkit button into the edit mode. So at the moment, it's only in the create. So I'm going to show you how to do that so that we can then edit it and change the address should we need to. So let's have a look at the installation before we move on. We're going to go to the setup, and we're going to go to widgets. And this is very, very easy to do. Don't be afraid of the setup in terms of widgets. And you'll see here the CRM Toolkit installation. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that from scratch. So that's one I prepared earlier. So create new widget and give it a widget name. So this one we're going to call our webinar CRM Toolkit. And you can give it a description. So demo of installation. And the widget type is going to be a button because it's always operated from the button. And then in the hosting section, select external and then insert the URL that we provide. So let me just go and get the URL. It's always the same URL, and then save. And that will add the widget into your list of widgets. Now we can add the button into the edit mode in the contact. So we're going to go to Customization, Modules and Fields, and go to our contacts. And then here you'll see links and buttons. And you can see it's for create and clone only at this stage. So we're going to add a new button. And this one is going to be called CRM Toolkit. And we can place the button on the edit page. So it's either on the create or the edit page for the toolkit. And what we would like it to do is to, what we would like it to do is, I have a mouse problem at the moment, is open a widget and then select the widget that you've created. So we're going to install it and then assign the permissions for each of your profiles that you have in the CRM or who you want to have access to. Just as a point of note, the administrator has special privileges, which I'll show you in a second in the toolkit. So that's the installation, and it really is that simple. You just create the widget and then add in the buttons. So now when we go back to our contact page, we're going to go to the contact we created earlier. And this time in edit mode, we now have the CRM Toolkit option. So we can now go in and change this, this address. So click on CRM Toolkit. And we're going to change the address for this person. So it's come up with the same options. We're now going to change their address. So let's go with SS00BY. These are entirely random. And we're going to change their address here and submit, and that's going to change their address. So very, very straightforward, and then save. Okay, so that's first of all just showing you a demo of it. I'm now going to show you how we can customize the fields that we map the addresses to. So let's go back to this entry, and you can see here we have mailing street 2, which currently isn't mapped, and also a building name. So these are 2 custom fields that we've added in. So let's go to edit mode. And when I click on CRM Toolkit, if I'm an administrator in the CRM, so I have an administrator profile, then this setup icon will be available at the top of the section here. So let's click on the top section, and that will bring up our setup interface. And you can see the other sections that we've got. We've got mailing address, other address, and test address. So with mailing address, we're currently mapping these fields, which is mailing street 2, mailing street city, country, and mailing zip. But what we want to choose is this building name field. So I'm going to drag that one in. Sorry, bear with me. There it is, building name. So simply drag it across, and it's now in the fields to map section. And then if we move along a tab and click on mapped values, that will give us the fields we've just selected, and on the left-hand side are the locate fields. So they're the address fields that we're using for the mappings. So for this one, we want to be able to choose building name, and we just simply drag and drop it across. So that field is now mapped against this one. And then click on save. Okay, so we now have our building name available. So now when we start searching for an address with a building name, of which I know this one is one. So we're going to go with this one here, One Goose Green Cottage, and we can select that one. And because that has a building name, One Goose Green Cottage, it's going to select that one and place it in the building name. So when we submit that record, it's now mapped One Goose Green Cottage and Mailing Street 2 and the custom fields that we've set up. So very, very straightforward to add in your custom fields and customize this as you like. What I often see is that people change mailing state to mailing county, and that can be mapped in the same way. Okay, so we can save that record, and we've now got our full address data. Okay, so the next section I'm going to show you is setting up Toolkit in a completely custom module, because that's one of the second requests that we had from our version 1. And this gives you full flexibility in the CRM to use the address data wherever you like in the CRM. So let's go into our setup and to modules and fields. And we're going to click this time on new module. And I'm just going to call this one, let's call this Toolkit Demo. And we're going to create some fields that we want to map. So let's call this one fields. And I'm just going to drag in a couple of single lines. So we're going to map the building name. And we're going to also map company. And then we'll do some simple ones. So street, county, and postcode. So all of these are completely custom fields. They're not inbuilt or anything, so they're set up from scratch. And then I'm just going to change this one to a reference number, which will mean I don't have to enter anything when we create the custom record. So save, administrator and standard access, and save that custom module. So now we've got one completely from scratch, and we need to tell the toolkit that we're going to be using it in that custom module. So the same processes we had before. We're going to go to links and buttons, and we're going to create a new button and call this one toolkit. And we're going to place it on the create page, and we're going to open our widget, which is the webinar demo. Make it available to everybody and save, and then repeat the process for the edit mode as well. So edit and open our widget, and again select the widget we installed earlier and make it available. Okay, so we've now got in the toolkit demo, the custom module, we've now got our two buttons available, one in create mode and one in edit mode. So let's go and give that a try. Click on the toolkit demo, and we're going to create a new record. And you can see our option up here. Now, the first time we go into the option, if we're an administrator, this is going to be a bit of a clean slate. So we've got to map the fields that we want to map. So it's completely blank, but because we're the administrator, it's brought us into the configuration section. So first thing to do is click on a new section. And this one is just going to be called our address. And it'll give us the fields that we want to map across. So we're going to map the building name, which we can drag, the company, street, county, and postcode. So nice simple 5 fields. And then our mapped values, we can now go in and take these values from Loqate. So company and building name, street, and the province or county. So you can also map 2 fields just in case. So sometimes I'm unsure which one is which. So province name and province county, and then we can refine it. And then postal code. So now we've mapped the fields, click on save. And then this time we've got the ability to go and search and map these together. So I've got some company names that I want to look up. So let's look up Bunzl. And it's automatically brought up all of the Bunzl addresses in UK. So we're going to click on that one, and that's going to map the fields that it knows. So it's going to put the actual company name in, the street, and the county. It's actually twice because of those 2 fields. This one here has a building name, so I'm going to select this one. So that's put building name into Enterprise House, and then submit that. And you can clearly see now that it's mapped those fields accordingly. Let's save that one, and then I'll also go into edit mode. So if we go into edit mode and we realize that we've selected the wrong Bunzl, then we can go back to our toolkit. And you can also use these little search elements on each component here. So if we wanted to know someone, choose another company of Bunzl, then we can click on the search key, and that will bring up all of the other addresses for Bunzl Healthcare. So let's choose this one instead, and you can see everything's changed, apart from this, which is grayed out because it hasn't changed. And then submit, and that's changed the address. So very, very straightforward. Okay, hopefully that shows you the toolkit in a custom module. And then what I'm finally going to show you, just giving a little sort of taste of this, is enriching B2B addresses. So to do that, we're going to use our accounts module. And we're going to go and create an account. And again, I'm just going to pick on Bunzl here because it's got some nice addresses. So sometimes this happens when you're creating an account in your CRM, you don't quite have all the details. So you just click save on account name. But we want to enrich this now. So we're going to edit mode. And instead of calling it CRM Toolkit, I've called this one Business Lookup, but it's exactly the same tool that's being used. So we can click on Business Lookup. And then the account name, we can just click on search here, and then that's going to bring up the same addresses. So this time we want, let's choose this one. So Enterprise House one, and that's going to select a map against these building, street, city, state, and code, because they're the fields that we've mapped, and then submit. So you can see how easy it is when you've got a bunch of accounts in your CRM, but you don't have the addresses. You can simply go through and hit that search key and start to update the addresses with either the correct ones where you may think you have inaccuracies, or indeed populate the address where you've got missing data. So that's one of the really good features, is this business name search. As long as you've got the mappings in place, then it's going to be really helpful for our business-to-business clients. Okay, excellent stuff. So no questions so far. That means I'm answering everything, and that's what I like to assume. So let me just talk about the special offers and Q&A before we end the webinar today. So the installation is really simple. The user guide, so that's the process that I've just taken you through today, is available at targetcloud.co.uk/CRM Toolkit. So that's all here. There's a video on the actual usability. You can also schedule a demo if you want a one-to-one session to go through your actual requirements with me. And there's some help videos. So the quick start installation will go through the process that I've described on this webinar. And also I've added mapping custom fields video. There will be more videos available on here as we go through. And then in terms of let's get started, you're welcome to install it on a 14-day trial and have a go with as many lookups as you like. That 14-day trial will only cease after that time period. We also have a free package of 20 address lookups a month, which will suit some of our B2B clients, not so much with the business to consumer clients. If you need more, then you're able to choose a package. So these range from 100 lookups a month for £10 a month, or $10 if you're in the US, through to 1,000 lookups, which is absolutely loads, at £55. So anything in between is available, and obviously the more lookups you subscribe to, the better deal you get. And the special offer that I talked about, so if you want to give it a whirl and you want to choose a package, then webinar attendees will be able to get a 3-month free trial on any of those packages. So that will give you a code that you can sign up to, or I think I've included it in the presentation here. So Web 3 month free, WEB3MF. It is case specific. Into the subscription page when you select choose package, and that one's available up until the end of the week for you. Any non-UK customers, please contact us at support@targetcloud.co.uk, because the subscription packaging is in GBP, and obviously we can provide it in any currency for you. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an indication of what we've covered today. I'm just going to go back to the agenda. So simply customizing and mapping the fields in the toolkit, with the ability to install it into any of the modules. Creating a completely custom module and then mapping the fields, which can be really useful not just for addressing, but for things like finding building names or customer names and company names. Very, very easy to do. And also recommended if you want to sample the whole data set within Loqate. So there's around about 40 or 50 fields available, some of which might be useful for you in other applications of the CRM. And then for our business-to-business customers, a very simple way of looking up the company and finding their address. And then finally, talking about the actual special offers in our packages, which are all good. They're all reasonably priced anyway, but 3 months free for anybody attending this webinar today. Okay, so thanks very much for attending. I hope that was useful. I'm just going to open up now for any Q&A, and if there's anybody wants to see any additional details on it, then let's hop over. I think we have a question. Okay, so the question is relating to county and country mappings, both displaying Essex in an example. That's probably a faulty mapping in the demo that I've done. So let me just have a look at that. Is it in contacts? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, so Lancashire and Lancashire there. So let's go and change that. So edit this and CRM Toolkit. That's well spotted. Thank you very much for that. But it's a good opportunity to show why that's happening. So that's in the mailing address. We can see here the mailing country is mapped to Lancashire. So let's go and change that. And we can see our map values. And the mailing country here has got province and county, which is an error. So what we want to actually choose is the country. So we look in our Loqate data. And there's the country name. So map that to country instead, and then remove this one. So again, it's just drag and drop. So we're going to save that one. Then when we return to the mappings for this address, it should be updated. So let's just do a lookup on here to get the data again. So now when we change it, it's mapped to United Kingdom, and then submit, and it's going to change the country there. So well spotted on the non-deliberate mistake, but it's a good example of reiterating the mappings and how simple it is to change. Thank you very much. Let's save that record. Okay, great stuff. I'll just give a couple more minutes for any other Q&A, and I'll just leave the website available for you. If you want to go and give it a try, just go to targetcloud.co.uk CRM Toolkit. And what I'll also do is I'll paste the widget URL in the chat window, so that it makes it very easy for you to configure. So there's the widget URL. Simple. Let's have a look. Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much for attending today. I hope you found that useful. And if you need any more help or advice, then do get in touch. either via this website to schedule a demo or by sending us an email to support@targetcloud.co.uk. Thanks very much indeed for your time. We'll send out the recording for you as well, because I realised that was quite swift. So we'll send out the recording, and good luck, and I hope you enjoy using CRM Toolkit. Thank you very much indeed.